The First World War began in August 1914. Both sides expected a quick and decisive victory. However, the war quickly devolved into a stalemate. German advances into France were halted at the Battle of the Marne. The opposing armies then dug into the ground for protection. This marked the beginning of trench warfare. The stalemate on the Western Front was unexpected. Military tactics at the time were focused on rapid movement and decisive battles. The invention of powerful defensive weapons like the machine gun made these tactics obsolete. The machine gun's firepower forced armies to seek cover. The trenches became a necessity for survival. Both sides constructed elaborate trench systems. These stretched for hundreds of miles across the Western Front. The trenches ran from the North Sea to the Swiss border. They were not just simple ditches, they were complex defensive networks. Trenches were typically 6 to 8 feet deep and lined with sandbags. Wooden planks covered the bottom to provide a dry surface for soldiers to stand on. Barbed wire entanglements protected the trenches from enemy attacks. Communication trenches ran back to rear areas. These allowed for the movement of troops and supplies. Life in the trenches was a horrific experience for soldiers. They faced constant danger, deprivation, and disease. The trenches were often waterlogged and muddy. This made living conditions unbearable. Soldiers lived with the constant threat of enemy fire. Rats, lice, and other vermin infested the trenches. They spread diseases like trench fever and dysentery. Food was scarce and of poor quality. Soldiers endured these conditions for weeks or even months at a time. Section 4, New Weapons of War, Industrialized Killing. World War I witnessed the introduction of new and deadly weapons. The machine gun proved to be a highly effective defensive weapon. It could mow down attacking soldiers by the hundreds. Poison gas was another terrifying new weapon. Poison gas, such as chlorine and mustard gas, was first used by the Germans in 1915. It could inflict agonizing death or injury. Soldiers were forced to wear gas masks for protection. Tanks, armored vehicles designed to break through enemy lines, were first deployed in 1916. They had limited success in the early stages of the war. Section 5, Battles of Attrition, Verdun and the Somme. Trench warfare led to bloody stalemates. Battles often lasted for months, with little gain for either side. Two of the deadliest battles fought in the trenches were the Battle of Verdun and the Battle of the Somme. The Battle of Verdun, fought between February and December 1916, was one of the longest and most costly battles in history. The Germans attacked the Verdun sector, hoping to bleed the French army white. Over 700,000 men were killed or wounded at Verdun. The Battle of the Somme, which lasted from July to November 1916, was intended to relieve pressure on the French at Verdun. It became another bloody stalemate. The first day of the Somme was the bloodiest day in British military history, with over 57,000 British casualties. Section 6, The Legacy of Trench Warfare. Trench warfare had a profound impact on World War I. It led to a war of attrition. This meant victory would go to the side with the most resources. The stalemate on the Western Front lasted for over 4 years. The horrors of trench warfare led to widespread disillusionment. Soldiers experienced unimaginable brutality and suffering. The war's impact was felt long after the guns fell silent in 1918. It left deep scars on a generation. The war also had a profound technological impact. It led to the development of new weapons and technologies. Trench warfare remains a chilling reminder of the human cost of war.